Hello everyone, and welcome to the Go Midway Eagles YouTube channel. Today with me, I have a special guest, Midway University Athletic Director, Rusty Kennedy. Rusty, how are you?
I'm good, Dylan. Thank you for having me.
Good. I'm Dylan Brown, Sports Information Director. So, Rusty, this is the first time we've sat down and talked with you before. Can you give a little background information about where you've been, how you came to Midway?
Sure. I arrived at Midway, and it'll be 2 years this January. I arrived January of 2016. I had spent 18 and a half years at various institutions, from the NJCAA to the NAIA to NCAA Division II. Most of that time was spent as a head women's basketball coach, and I also served as athletic director at Clarendon College for 5 years and at Central Baptist College in Conway, Arkansas for a year. So this has been my first stint of just being pure athletic director and not coaching along with, and so it's been an exciting time, and I think we'll get more into that, but this has definitely been a highlight of my career, no doubt about it, what we've been able to accomplish in the almost 2 years here.
Yeah, whenever you got here, Midway was just a female institution, one of the few ones left. There's not very many of those out there.
Under 50 left. Yeah. I think it's in the low 40s.
And whenever you got here, there was only 8 sports. And now with the addition of last week's 4 new sports that are coming in, really technically 3, but 4 incorporating one into a program, now we're going to be at 20. So that's a pretty substantial growth in just a year and a half.
Sure. It's been a fun time to be an Eagle, no doubt about it. When we arrived, when I arrived in January of 2016, we had 8 sports. We had 92 student athletes. We had 5 NAIA sports plus archery and hunt seat and western in the equestrian side of the IHSA. So it was pretty sparse. And then we were fortunate enough to the board voted to go co-ed.
Shortly after you got here, wasn't it?
In May, the board voted to go co-ed in first or second week of May in 2016, but we weren't going to add male athletics until the fall of 17. And a couple weeks later, with the closing of now defunct St. Catherine College, we sped up that timeline, got board approval, and added four male sports from St. Catherine, plus we reinstated women's tennis and women's cross country, which had once been here and gone into hiatus. And so we went from that 8 sports in the spring of 2016 with 92 student athletes to 14 sports and 260 student athletes just 3 months later in the fall of 2016.
And that was a great time. Obviously, you're bringing in males for the first time. You're having males compete on the field. It was a great time. And then, shortly after that, we announced, Midway announced the addition of men's cross country, men's tennis, and cheerleading. And that's what's started this year.
Yes, that got us to 17 sports, and we started this year with 340 student athletes. So from fall to fall, growing from 260 to 340 was an impressive jump for us. And then now we're adding the new sports we just announced with men's volleyball and men's wrestling, women's track and field. That'll get us to 20 sports, and we think approximately 400 student athletes. It's been just an exciting time, no doubt about it. It's changed the institution, and we were a very proud single gender institution, 169 years of traditional education, women only education, and had a lot of good outstanding teams over those years. We're not taking nothing away from the history of Midway athletics prior to that, because we had some very successful runs. But the energy of adding all the new sports, the energy of the first male student athletes and first male students competing, it's been a fun time to be here. And the last year
Last year was quite a successful
was crazy, but it was a very successful year.
Very successful year. We had 2 conference championships in baseball in their first year as a program. They win the River States Conference,
That was exciting.
Get a bid to the NAIA National Championship.
Softball had their best season in at least 15 years. They won 29. In fact, softball won more games than any team on campus last year. They won 29 games, finished second place. I thought we were going to send them to the national tournament.
We were 1 win away.
We came really close, and Coach Swisher did a nice job with them. Men's soccer is the one. They kind of started it off for us in the fall, being one of the first teams to compete, and those guys just they finished third in conference. But the 2 teams ahead of them in conference were both in the top 5 nationally all year, with West Virginia Tech and Rio. And so we would have won a number of leagues had we been in another league. And our guys won 10 matches. They finished third in conference. Had an exciting, literally last second playoff win over Point Park in the first round last year with Joe Jessup's miracle kick from outside the box as time expired. So they kind of set the tone, and a new energy happened, and it just seemed to catch fire in other sports. And women's basketball then followed up with going 22-10, and they were close to going to the national tournament. They went 22-10 and were West Division champs in the River States Conference. And a heck of a turnaround when you consider they were 0-30 the year before and won 22 games last year. Coach Kinger and his young ladies did a fantastic. He was coach of the year. Did a fantastic job. It was, you almost couldn't script it, capping it off with women's golf and then baseball's run, especially for the St. Catherine transfers. Them having 18 transfers who were from St. Catherine going to the national tournament. That almost was a storybook kind of run they had in the conference tournament.
It was great to see that for them.
Yes.
For them to be able to go through what they went through with the closing of St. Catherine. Right. It was a month, literally less than a month before the school year was getting ready to get started, and they're throwing into the fire with trying to get a new program, and that's trying to find a new school.
And whether people know it or not, you were the sports information director and an alumni of St. Catherine, so you were another one of the refugees from St. Catherine who we wound up taking in, and they have added something to the fabric of our institution and the dynamic, and we're thankful for their addition. You hate, and I hate that St. Catherine is no longer an institution. I hate that for anybody's institution, and but I do feel good that a number of young people are going to get a degree and are able to participate in sports they love here at Midway University. So I think we did the best we could, and in Betterman took wrestling. So I think a number of young people found new homes and new opportunities.
Yeah. So last year was a great year all around. We talked about it over the summer. I talked with Dr. Marsden a couple times. What are we going to do to top what we did last year? It's not going to be easy, to be able to get something, get the same result from baseball or something. Have someone come out and make a postseason run. You never know what can happen.
That's the beauty of athletics. You really don't know. Anybody can beat anybody on any given night, and sometimes teams catch lightning in a bottle. And I had the good fortune of experiencing that as a head coach myself. So it's a fun time when it happens.
Yeah, and I know you can't talk specifics about this, but there's some exciting stuff coming.
We're
facility-wise.
Going to be having some new announcements coming soon about some facilities upgrades, and some improvements the university will be making, and we will be can't wait to be making those announcements. And there's several other exciting announcements in the pipeline. Along with our exciting announcements of adding the new sports, currently we're in the process of hiring a wrestling coach. We're in the process of hiring a women's track and field coach. Coach Rama is taking the men's volleyball program over. We had a very generous donation from Motor Men's Volleyball Foundation to help us get men's volleyball up and running. And I think we may have another donation coming for wrestling, and so just an exciting time to be here. And sometimes you never get tired of the good news.
That's exactly right. You know, men's volleyball is something that's starting to come around. It's been an invitational sport, and for a couple of years so far in the NAI. Now it's I think it's really starting to
We're somewhere around the 40 NAI sponsored institutions that sponsor it, and sports become national championship caliber. And we are either the 39th or 40th to announce they're going to start the sport and participate, following Life University and Cumberland, Tennessee, who just did it in this this region. So we're excited about that. We think there may be a conference being formed for men's volleyball, and there'll be more exciting news coming out of that as well.
Yep, I think that's all we have for today. Got anything else you want to add?
No, I would say follow us at www.gomidwayeagles.com for the latest updates. Dylan does a fantastic job as our sports information director, and
Okay job.
Yeah, okay. And anything we can do for you, anybody out there, please let us know. Come out and support Midway Eagle Athletics.
All right, thank you.